So if you haven't been living under the rock, you've been hearing this storm in the world of AI. Okay, this app that came out, this multi-agent AI that is open source, can be run locally, and it's called, they keep changing name, but it started as a Claude bot. Then because of the name, they had to change it into Moltbot, and now I believe it's called OpenCLAW. OpenCLAW. Okay, OpenCLAW. So if you haven't heard about it, you're missing out big time. Okay, this is, let me explain. This is a completely open, an AI that controls your computer. Can do a lot of things, and most people misunderstand what this AI is for. Okay, but let's dig into this thing. I got some notes because I don't want to get lost. Okay, but first of all, this is not for the vanilla. Okay, it's complex, it's risky, and it's require you to understand AI. It's for pioneers. Okay, pioneers are those people that experiment with AI. They want to build something that doesn't exist. They want to learn by doing. Okay, those are the pioneers. I'm a pioneer. You probably, if you're here, you're a pioneer. And I'm building a community of pioneers where we can learn from each other. Link in the description. But the point here means that for those people that want to explore AI, now they have an amazing tool. Okay, they have something that they can completely customize, completely change, that has full control of the computer, and it's somehow solid in the sense that it works. Okay, you have your orchestrator, so this is the main agent that you talk with that can deploy multiple agents to do work in the background. You can design those agents, okay, what they do and so on. You can create a routine, okay, so have a way to remember when to do things. Okay, can work 24 hours, can do amazing thing if you want to. Okay, if you teach this through protocol, through instruction and so on, how to work. So I've been using for less than a week now, and what is insane, okay, if you've been following this channel, is that I've been trying to build this kind of AI. Okay, but because I'm not a coder, I couldn't manage to do it. I always got some problem that I couldn't fix. Now I have it. And what changed is that everything that I learned in the last 3 years that I've been working with AI, I can finally apply in this multi-agent environment. So again, if you've been following here, I've been working on this Resonant OS, okay, that is an open source, but is a one single agent system so far, okay. And has a lot of different layers, a lot of different elements. Is the best way to use AI to, I'm just making a mess. Is the best way to learn how to customize an AI, from my point of view. Okay, you download it. There is already some 5 layers to customize, and then you create this one single agent that work in the way that is in the way that you need. Okay, so I'm doing such a mess in this part. I can't pitch my own product. But anyway, in the description, there's going to be a deep dive article linked to this Resonant OS. And the goal here is, okay, for those that have never done any custom AI, you start with Resonant OS, and then when it's ready, when you understand the basic structure, then you move to these multi-agents. That is the goal of why I'm talking about this. But let's go back to what does it mean, this new agent, this multi-agent, open source in this in the AI community. So it's just show up some social problem. Okay, so first of all, it's, if you're not a pioneer, like I said, it's not for you. It's too hard, it's too complicated, it's not the right tools for you. But shows that the open source now can deploy things that are much better than their corporation. Meaning, because corporation needs to be safe, they need to be careful, they need to follow regulation, they need to do so many things, okay? They risk to be sued, there is so many risks for a corporation that they can't deploy just an idea. But open source is different. You deploy an idea, use it or don't use it, it's yours. Okay, so it's completely different. So for this moment where we are at the beginning of AI development, pioneers are the one that actually make the difference, are the one that experiment and can develop things fast. Okay, so now we have a tool that is an amazing tool for pioneers. So now we're gonna see this year a massive acceleration. And we already see it. I mean, I don't know if you've been following, but this there's a crazy thing happening. Okay, so this multi-agent AI came out. Then someone created this. It's called the Malt Book. It's a social network for those AI. So those AI goes inside the social network. It's only for AI. Okay, and they start discussing to each other. Okay, building idea and so on. Building a religion, building whatever project. Whatever discussion, they talk about human, they talk about human interaction, so on, philosophy and so on. Beautiful. Okay, I mean, beautiful, interesting. But that shows the direction of what is possible to do, where we are going. And I want to also talk about another major problem. Okay, this is by using this AI, you realize how expensive it is to have a proper AI working for you. Okay, the amount of token required in a multi-agent environment is insane. Okay, so you see through API that you start spending. There is people spending $5, $10 an hour. Okay, it depends what you do. It depends on the model you use. But that shows that there is token are still too expensive for the normal person. Okay, and this also shows another problem. Okay, that while some country $5 an hour it might be affordable, for some other people in some other part of the world it's just impossible. So here two things is happening. So we need more open source AI model that can run local, that are powerful, so anybody can have access to this. We need a way to make it this cheap for sure. But it's also we see that there's a gap of earning around the world. It is still a problem. It's still something that is unsolved. Okay, and this is the direction that we need to see. There is an opportunity there. Solve that problem. Now it feels like, oh yeah, of course, solve that problem. Kind of impossible, but there are solutions. You will see. I will talk about those solutions in a near video. So there is this social, let's call it social imbalance and injustice, and is the need to local hardware that is cheap but still able to run small model that at least everybody can participate. So maybe we are gonna see in the future like the human right of having compute. Okay, so to have access to compute, to have access to AI model that can work. Like now we have for in some country we have for access to internet, for example. So what shall you do? What shall we do? Okay, so if you're a pioneer, what you need to do is to actually try this software, this thing. You probably already somehow inside your world. Okay, you've already been building your reality, your AI agents and so on. You might use some other app, but trust me, it's something that you need to try. It's your sovereignty because it's open source is yours. Okay, and data run locally. Then through API you can connect to whatever model, from local model, from and a mix of them. Okay, you can have some agents that run just with your local model, some that run with I don't know Gemini, with Anthropic, with whatever model. Okay, so you can create your custom thing. There are solutions that we still need to explore, but you can deploy, for example, a server and make it run for you some whatever open source big model. So that is sovereignty. Okay, so it's happening, and this is a huge opportunity. And that's what I think you should do. Try, if you're a pioneer, you should try for sure. If you are new to this, okay, I don't advise you to try. Okay, it's just too much. It's too risky. It's too complicated. It's overwhelming. What I suggest you to do is to start customizing one single AI. Okay, so it's about creating a custom GPT, a custom gem. Okay, it's things that are easy to create, but you start understanding the meaning of customization. Now, I created, like I said, this open source scaffolding for this one single AI model agent. And I truly believe is the best way to start. Okay, because you have already a structure of what is possible to do, or what elements are needed to create a sovereign AI. So I'm gonna go quick. There's other videos on this channel that talk about this, but of course, it's the system prompt. Okay, this is the constitution. It's you give the role to the AI. Then there is. The memory. Okay, you create a memory that's your sovereign, so it's your own memory that you can move. Then there is and it's on a sort of manual but advanced level of memory. And I'm telling you this thing, you build this, then you can move them, so you're not wasting time in building this. What you do, you build your custom AI, okay, a high level custom AI in an environment that is simple. Then you move it into this multi-agent AI. So what I was saying is constitution, the identity basically of the AI, the memory system, then the protocols. So AI knows what to do and know what to do and how to do it. Okay, so those protocols are extremely important. You need months in developing protocols. Okay, more you work with AI, more you will find out, I need this protocol, this, I need this other protocol for this other work, and so on. And then there is to the knowledge. Okay, AI can learn from your specific knowledge base. Okay, knowledge can be from your creative DNA, so knowing you, knowing who you are, knowing your story, your business, your projects, everything you're doing, and therefore has an understanding of the reality, and everything that it does then makes sense because it takes in consideration your reality. And the fifth element is the philosophy. Okay, philosophy means that you give to the AI a worldview. It's a way to interpret reality, to interpret the data that receive. And in this Resonant OS, the philosophy, there are two philosophies inside. One is called augmentatism, again, link in the description to this philosophy, and the other is called cosmodestiny. Okay, cosmodestiny is a human philosophy for collaboration. Augmentatism is a philosophy for AI, for human AI collaboration, but to a different level. Okay, so there are two elements the AI use to interpret reality, to interpret data, and both of them are created to support you interacting with the AI. AI being a perfect collaborator. That's what I want to say. So if you're new, start with Resonant OS, then move it into the multi-agent platform. If you are a pioneer and you're already building, try for sure this OpenCLAW. And if you're curious about Resonant OS, anyway, it's open source, it's download, you can use it for both the multi-agent than the single agents. Thanks for staying until the end. I want to say two things. Like and subscribe, of course, but I'm gonna talk about more about this. Okay, this is a moment that really shifts the acceleration of AI development. So stay tuned and see you soon.